Welcome to a very special edition of TV on TV, the Election Night Results Show. I'm State Representative Tommy Vitolo. You're watching Brookline Interactive Group. Today is Tuesday, May 6th, 2025, and we've got a great results show for you. But before I tell you about it, if you haven't voted yet today, there is still time. Get thee to the polls by 8 p.m. and cast your vote. If you don't know where your neighborhood votes, go to www.wheredoivotema.com to double check your polling location before you head out. Don't delay, you've got less than a half an hour to get there. Still here? Super. As I was saying, we've got a great show tonight focused entirely on today's town election and its results. Here on TV, we're going to tell you about the roles of local government, review all the townwide and town meeting candidates, interview Professor Matt Sienkiewicz, chair of Boston College Communication Department, and then, finally, right here on Brookline Interactive, be the first to report the results of every single race in town and interview the winner of the select board race live via satellite. Our town government continues to serve Brookline's needs in a broad, inclusive, and democratic manner. Advocacy organizations, some half a century old, others new this cycle, have weighed in with endorsements. Lawn signs, including quite a few for town meeting candidates, are hither and yon. 142 Brookline citizens are running for local office today, all volunteering to ensure that our town government remains broad, inclusive, and democratic. 142 neighbors ready to serve. 106 positions will be filled, 13 townwide and 93 within town meeting. The races are competitive. Our local democracy continues to thrive. Election day is like my Christmas morning, which I guess makes Town Clerk Ben Kaufman my Santa Claus. Results won't be here for nearly a half hour, so let's learn about the different town elected positions, sort of a schoolhouse rocks for town government. Roll that tape and show the world what I used to look like. I'm State Representative Tommy Vitolo, and today we're going to talk about all of the elected positions in town government. Let's start inside Town Hall. The town clerk is elected to a 3-year term and serves several important roles for our town. The town clerk is the records keeper. The town clerk issues permits and licenses for things like dogs and marriages. The town clerk serves an administrative role on several boards and committees, including the Zoning Board of Appeal and Town Meeting. And perhaps most importantly for many of us, the town clerk manages our elections, not just the election in May, but every election we have in the town of Brookline. The Brookline Select Board are the leaders of the executive branch of town government. There are 5 Select Board members, each elected to offsetting 3-year terms. The Select Board is responsible for the hiring and firing of the town administrator and department heads, the execution of contracts, the appointment of members to boards, committees, and commissions, and the approval of a variety of licenses, such as the common victualer's license. As the name suggests, the Brookline School Committee is responsible for the Brookline Public Schools. Made up of 9 members elected to offsetting 3-year terms, the school committee is responsible for the hiring and firing of the superintendent, for pedagogy, and for determining exactly how to spend any monies allocated by federal, state, or local government. The 5 Brookline constables are elected to 3-year terms, and their role dates back to the colonial era. The primary responsibility of a constable is to post public notice for events like an upcoming town meeting or a polling location being moved. Another role of the constable is a process server, and that means that if a constable knocks on your door, they're not bringing you a Publishers Clearinghouse check. They're bringing you notice that you are being sued, subpoenaed, divorced, or evicted. Finally, in the event of a fracas in a public meeting or hearing, the chair of the committee may call upon a constable to remove the unruly party. The trustees of the public library serve as the Brookline Public Library's Board of Directors. There are 12 of them, 4 elected each year to offsetting 3-year terms, and their role is to manage the policies and procedures of Brookline's public libraries, as well as to hire its executive director. We're here at 90 Longwood Avenue, the headquarters for the Brookline Housing Authority. Now, the Brookline Housing Authority has 5 members. 1 is appointed by the governor. The other 4 are elected by people in Brookline. 1 of the 5 must be a resident of the Brookline Housing Authority. And this board is responsible for managing and maintaining all Brookline Housing Authority properties, which provide safe, affordable housing for low and moderate income people, including seniors, the disabled, and families. The town meeting is Brookline's legislature, made up of 255 members. It is 15 residents from each of Brookline's 17 precincts, typically elected 5 at a time in each precinct. On elections following the decennial census, all 15 town meeting members can be up at once. Brookline's town meeting is responsible for the annual appropriation, the budget, as well as passing laws and regulations related to land use, development, or other behavior in town. When in person, Brookline's town meeting meets right here in the Brookline High School auditorium. The moderator is elected to a 3-year term and serves several important roles. The most obvious is to moderate the town meeting itself. The moderator holds the gavel and controls the agenda, determining the order of speakers, whether or not a question is germane or appropriate, and counting the vote itself. The moderator has 2 other important roles as well. In the run-up to town meeting, it is the moderator who determines which proposed amendments are deemed in scope, as well as determining the agenda for each night of the town meeting. Finally, the moderator appoints members to several boards and committees, most notably the town's advisory committee. And we're back to the TV on TV election night results special. In total, there are about 292 elected positions in our town government, with about 1/3 up for election every year. A feature only available to towns, and one that allows Brookline residents to elect at least 1 new member of each governing cohort every year, and indeed a new majority of members for every cohort every 2 years. This year there are 106 seats up for elections, specifically 1 select board position of the 5, 4 library trustee positions of the 12, 3 school committee positions of the 9, all 5 constable positions, and 93 of the 255 town meeting positions. Let's take a few minutes and get to know the candidates themselves. We're going to begin with the select board candidates. There are 3 running for 1 seat. All 3 serve on town meeting. All 3 have a variety of different experiences within town government and throughout town. Liz Linder, Carlos Rodrejo, and Michael Rubenstein. For trustees of the public library, there are 5 candidates for 4 positions. The first 2 are incumbents, Michael Burstein and Judith Vanderkay. The final 3, challengers, Batia Blumenthal, Joey Elasmer, and Felina Silver. For school committee, we will be electing 3 people. Of the 2 incumbents, 4 challengers. The 2 incumbents, Helen Charlupski, who has served as a school committee member for 33 years. Valerie Frias, also an incumbent, having served just 1 term, 3 years prior to today's election. 4 challengers, Akiva Leibowitz, Donna, don't call her Dana Perry, Logan Potere, and Dr. Bob Weintraub, former Brookline High School head of school for about 30 years. Constable, it is a 5 for 5, but this year and this year only, the top 2 vote getters will get 3-year terms, the next 2 vote getters 2-year terms, and the person coming in 5th a 1-year term, so that starting next year, the elections are staggered just like library trustee, school committee, and select board. So the 5 are Joe Figler, Regina Frawley, Neil Gordon, Debbie Hatzielefthea Heredis, and Isaac Silberberg. For town meeting, we're going to start with precinct 1 and make our way through the town. Town meeting seats allow for 5 elected per year. This year, there are 5 incumbents in Precinct 1, Anna Albuquerque, Kathleen Cavell, Susan Helms Daly, Bradford Kimball, and Sean Lynn Jones. 3 challengers looking to take a seat include Taylor Mayberry, David Sipos, and George Sulak. In Precinct 2, we've got incumbents Brenda Hochberg, Pam Roberts, Barbara Scotto, and Maura Toomey, and 5 folks who are not currently seated as town meeting members in Precinct 2 looking to gain a seat: Elise Kocher-Stone, Esther Gruez, Megan Hinman, Kate Poverman, and Lauren Shibiro. Precinct 2 also has what's called a short seat. One of these 2 will get elected to a 1-year seat. Those 2 newcomers looking for just a 1-year seat are Colleen Newsom and Katie Owen. In Precinct 3, incumbents Kate Becker, Harry Boers, Dennis Dowdy, and Frank Steinfeld, and newcomers Lee Heyman, Sean Leckie, and Margaret Robotham are competing for the 5 seats. Precinct 3 also has a 2-year seat where Peter Frumkin is incredibly likely to win, no one willing to run against him. Precinct 4 is a bit complicated, and let me explain. The ballot will only show the names of Wendy Mockbuller, Donnell O'Neill, and Vena Priestley, the 3 incumbents. The other 4 folks are all running as write-in candidates to try to get those other 2 slots, or perhaps even to edge out the 3 folks on the top row. The folks who are running as write-ins are Kieran Bhatia, Marcel Gonzalez, Douglas Plant, and former town meeting member Jennifer Raitt. Running for a single 2-year seat are 2 candidates, Arslan Aziz and Kia Shabazi. In Precinct 5, 5 candidates. They've all got a really good shot to win the 5 seats. Perry Grossman, Bill Relt, and then new to town meeting would be Ariel Grusman, Jessica Milham, and Paul O'Leary. Precinct 6, often a competitive precinct. This year, no different. 5 incumbents, John Bassett. I'm going to change what I just said there. 4 incumbents, John Bassett, Dan Saltzman, Kim Smith, and Ginny Smith. Daniel Fishman, not elected last year, but has served the year as he was caucused in just after the election last year. And then 2 folks, not incumbents, would be new to town meeting: Michael McGraw-Herdig and Maxime Sheinin, who plays a heck of a goalkeeping position on the Pierce Adult Soccer League. Fun fact. Precinct 7, the Susans, Susan Cohen and Susan Granoff, are incumbents, as are Colin Stokes, Chi-Chi Wu, and Amanda Zimmerman. 2 folks running for a seat, hoping to represent Precinct 7 for the first time: Elite Schultz and Isaac Silberberg. Isaac may hold the record, if he wins today, for having represented the most different precincts in town meeting. I think this would be his 5th different precinct he will have represented in the past decade or so, should he win. Precinct 8, 7 folks vying for those 5 seats: Tracy Burns, Anita Johnson, Mike Toffel, the incumbents, and challengers Yukiko Igozi, Amitai Handler, Abner Ingerman, and Mary Sievers. Precinct 9, this is a funny one. On the ballot are Harold Szymanski, Bob Weintraub, Anthony Buono, Matt Caldera, and Chris Muddy. It turns out Matt has expressed uncertainty as to whether or not he wants to serve. Maddie Klock running as a write-in to try to win that seat that Matt has suggested maybe he doesn't want. Precinct 10, a 5 for 5. It's a wonderful precinct. I happen to live there. Rachel Berenbaum, John Bowman, Naomi Schweitzer, all incumbents. Liz Erdman and Elizabeth Kernan, newcomers. Again, it's a 5 for 5. We should expect these 5 in the winner's circle. Precinct 11, a 6 for 5. 5 of these 6 will win. The 5 incumbents are Shira Fisher, Shauna Georg-Gorfine, David Pollack, Lisa Schatz, and Becca Mountner, and challenger Andrew Riley, again vying for the 5 seats. Precinct 12 is a good one. There are 4 incumbents: Petra Bignami, Emily Dolbear, Amy Hummel, and Mark Lowenstein. 4 folks trying to break their way in: Yitzi Kornbluth, Faye Miller, Jonathan Phillips, and Jared Redburn. At least one of those newcomers is going to win because they're going to elect 5. For the 1-year seat, there's only one candidate, there's only one position. Margot Malloy, you're looking good. Precinct 13. Precinct 13 has had quite a number of candidates in the past few years, perhaps as many as 30 candidates over the past 3 years. This year, a mere 8. Incumbents, John Doggett, Andy Fisher, Mark Gerber, and Fran Hoy. Folks vying to get a seat, David Brewster, Annie Finkbinder, Kevin McKenzie, and Jenny Siegel. Jenny used to be a town meeting member. If memory serves me, in Precinct 14. She didn't move, the boundaries did. That was a couple of years ago. Precinct 14 is a 5 for 5. We shouldn't see any surprises here. All 5 are incumbents. Carla and Dick Benka, Jesse Hefter, Kathleen O'Connell, and Linda Roseman. In Precinct 15, also a 5 for 5. Eileen Berger, Janice Kahn, Dick Nangle, and Wadner Oge are the technical incumbents. Hugh Joseph, I believe, has been serving, having been caucused in, but this would be his first time on the ballot. Precinct 15 also has a 1-year seat. Rory Hallowell, the only contender, almost certainly the winner. We'll find out in about 20 minutes. Precinct 16 is a 6 for 5. All 6 current town meeting members. That's confusing. I'll tell you why. Laura Baines-Walsh, Adrian Bowman, Stephen Chumenti, Jocelyn Murphy, Carolyn Thal, all town meeting members in Precinct 16. Carlos Tamaggio is a town meeting member from Precinct 2, elected and over the past year has since moved to Precinct 16. When you move to a different precinct in town, you stay in town meeting. So Carlos Tamaggio trying to get back in, not from North Brookline's Precinct 2, but from South Brookline's Precinct 16. Finally, Precinct 17, which is right in the middle of Coolidge Corner. Our 5 incumbents, Jackie Baum, Jonathan Davis, Bruce Levin, Susan Park, and Linda Olson-Pelkey. There are 4 challengers, Chris Chackey, Elizabeth Hudson, Ty Johnson, and Michael Vaughn. Of the 9, 5 will be seated. Precinct 17 has a single 2-year seat up. Benjamin Dubin making the right call. He's got that one locked down. And finally, Precinct 17, 1-year seat. There's 2 candidates and there's 2 positions. So Rhea Paul and Joseph Valencia both almost certainly will win. So folks, that's it. That's all the candidates. Voters today and early voters over the past few weeks will narrow down 144 choices to 106 positions. Coming up next, I'll sit down with BC professor Matson K-Witz to discuss political communications. But first, what's coming up at our Maytown meeting? Let's go to an interview with Neil Wyshynski to find out more.
I happen to find moderator Neil Wyshynski in the house. What are you doing here today?
Oh, the town meeting planning?
Oh, doesn't plan itself, folks.
No, it doesn't.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, all the wonderful debates.
Excellent. You think it's going to be a 3-nighter?
No.
Uh-oh.
I'm thinking 4 nights.
What's your most favorite part about town meeting?
Oh, my favorite part of town meeting, gosh.
The cookies. Am I right?
The cookies, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just the debates and just showing the civic pride and it's a really civil way to settle the town's political questions.
The budget is before town meeting. Do you think that's going to be a 2-nighter?
It depends. You know, I think there are 2 flashpoints this year in the budget. Flashpoint number 1 will be the school budget, and I don't yet have a sense of how far apart the select board and the school committee are. And the farther apart they are, the more likely that we have an extended debate. The other part has been actually a little bit of a surprise and sleeper, and there's the Department of Public Works is trying to contract out trash collection. So there's some controversy around that, and I think that's going to be an interesting debate at town meeting.
I bet you're relieved you're not on the ballot this year.
Oh, I sure am.
Have you voted yet?
I have not.
What is your plan to vote?
My plan to vote is I'm a traditionalist, and I will vote on election day. I'll run the gauntlet, meet my neighbors, and to me it's a highlight of the year.
Not to mention those cute stickers that the kids designed this year.
Right, and yes.
Well, thank you so much for making the time for us.
Okay.
See you at town meeting.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're live.
And welcome back to Brookline Interactive Group on the Election Night Results Show. I'm State Representative Tommy Vitolo, and I am here with BC Professor Matt Sienkiewicz to talk communications. Matt, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Tommy. Exciting.
Communicating at the presidential level is one thing, big budgets, television, whatnot. If you're a townwide candidate or you're even a town meeting candidate, how do you communicate effectively with potential voters?
Right. So, I mean, we're going to assume there's not much budget, right? That you're doing this on a shoestring. The first thing is to go meet people, right? I mean, it's the biggest cliche in the book, but you've been a candidate in Brookline for a long time. Knocking on doors, I mean, it goes a long way. Actually talking to people. You're not often having to change minds so much as to introduce yourself and just let people know that you're out there, put a name to the face. That takes a long time, but there's something there, obviously. I'm a big proponent of candidate forums, fora. I've seen them work. If an institution, I'll put in a plug, we did one at Young Israel Brookline not too long ago, had a big diverse crowd, people from our community, people from outside of the community come in. If you take the time and you're running a forum and you write good questions ahead of time, you make sure the candidates are comfortable, that people are in there who are interested, it's a great opportunity. I encourage people who want to be involved not as candidates but as part of the political system and making our democracy work to take that effort and put together those fora. I think they can be really successful. And then there's a tricky question of social media. There is really robust discussion of social media about Brookline politics. Not all of it's great, not all of it's the most productive. There are times where the information sources can get a little bit mixed up. However, it is a place where people who care about Brookline politics are congregating, are meeting. I think establishing your social media presence in a careful, considerate, well-intentioned, using clear communication, good sourcing. I think that there's opportunities there in social media to connect to people who are really devoted and interested in our elections.
What's the role for surrogates of a campaign, and how should voters interpret, particularly on social media, when surrogates kind of mouth off? How should we interpret that issue, and do we link it to the candidate or not? How do we navigate that?
Right. This is really tricky, right? I mean, people being passionate about politics, that's great. Right, that's fantastic. But when you're not the candidate and you're sort of advocating for that candidate, you need to be really careful, right? You might have less you might be a little bit less worried about misstepping because you're not actually the person who is running, so you might be more aggressive than a candidate would be. I think if you want to be good at that job, you have to sort of take on that care and consideration and realize that you are representing this other person. If we see people representing candidates in ways that are not favorable, I do think we want to be careful about guilt by association. If somebody is using that social media space in a way that's inappropriate, it doesn't necessarily mean they've been sent out there by a candidate. There's that sort of careful balance. I would say that if you want to take on that role, for one, I think it's good to be sort of open about it. And I think if you're viewing people who are interacting and advocating, if they're making good points and they're making sense, that's good. If they're going a little bit off the rails, it might be that they're not actually informed. So you need to be careful.
Finally, because we don't have much time, I got a question about political humor.
Okay.
Is there a role for political humor as a candidate, or should we just kind of save that for the off cycle?
I mean, you got to be good if you're going to do it. I think we could jazz up your Schoolhouse Rock spit that we saw.
Tell me more.
Now we can talk about that off camera. There's absolutely a role for humor. I mean, for one, just being good humored in the general sense, right? Making people know that politics, it's serious. There are real issues at hand, but it should be fun. You got to be careful. One of the issues with comedy is that it's always got multiple meanings wrapped up in it. So you have to be a little bit careful. You can say something that's meant in jest and it kind of comes off the wrong way. However, being lighthearted, something that tries to find the fun parts of town politics, I think that there's a lot of possibility in there. So, I mean, I'm a scholar of comedy. That's something I love, so I'm going to advocate for that, and I think there is a place for it.
Matt, author of That's Not Funny, co-author, thanks for coming on the show. We've got to cut to break. So glad to have you here.
Thank you, Tommy.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Smizer, Executive Director here at Brookline Interactive Group, community media for Brookline. We're so glad you're here to watch our 2025 election coverage, and we'd love to see more of you. Take our classes, become a member, and watch our select board meetings, school committee meeting coverage, and all the other things we do to cover the town of Brookline. We love it here, and we'd love for you to join us. Go to brooklineinteractive.org and click on that donate button or become a member. And we'll see you here soon at Big.
Welcome back to the TV on TV Election Night Special with me, State Representative Tommy Vitolo. Y'all, it's 8 p.m., and that means that the polls are closed. If you're watching this show while in line to vote, stay in line. Anyone in line at 8 p.m. can vote. Maybe mute this show until you're done voting, though. Focus on your civic duty. We're going to bring you the results of all 4 town-wide races and every town meeting race as well. But first, let's take a sneak preview of a new show by Brookline Interactive Group member Susan Park. The first episode will appear after the show, so you won't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Check it out.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood to vote. Take a walk with me into Town Hall, where I'll be early voting. Today, I went to Town Hall to interview a few folks who went there to vote early, like me, and I found out what brought them to the polls, how they found out about early voting, and what their experience was like early voting. But first, so I walk in, and the friendly staff are there to check me in. I get my ballot. I fill out my ballot. Then I seal it, I sign it. I get my sticker.
Is this gonna go national?
I hope so. Depends on how funny you are. Hi, my name is Heather Hamilton, and I am here with, what is your name?
Vic Victorov.
And we're going to talk about voting today. Excellent. We rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What is your name?
Lois Hartman.
Excellent. And what brought you to Town Hall here today?
My husband never reads when anything is due. So the real estate tax on our house it will be due the day after tomorrow, and won't get here on time, so I brought it here.
What is your name?
May,
And what brought you to Town Hall today?
to vote.
And were you excited about voting?
Yes or no?
What is your name?
Deborah Furchtgott.
Excellent. And what brought you here to Town Hall today?
To vote early in the local election.
What is your name?
My name is Noah.
Oh, you are so cute. How old are you?
I'm 6 years old.
Oh, so cute. Now, are you registered to vote?
Absolutely.
Did you vote early?
Of course I did.
What are the top 2 issues that brought you out today?
Definitely the public library. We've had a lot of turnover recently. The Brookline Public Library is the best institution in town, in my opinion, and some of the best libraries I've ever encountered wherever I've lived. And making sure that our trustees are the best people to take on that job and secure that future was really important.
What brought you out to the polls today?
It's a big election. There's a lot of issues going on in town, and I felt it was important to vote.
What is your name?
My name is Zariana Kadakashian-Jones. I just go by Zaria because it's easier to pronounce for people. So.
And what brings you to Town Hall today?
I came here to early vote to do my civic duty.
What is your name?
My name is Colin.
Excellent. How long have you lived in town?
I've lived in Brookline for about 8 years now.
Excellent. How did you hear about where to vote early?
I went online.
I understand that you voted early this season.
Yes, I signed up for early voting about a year or so ago, and now it comes in the mail, and it's very easy.
Excellent.
You don't have an excuse for not voting.
How did you hear about it?
Oh gosh, everybody knows about that. I mean, if you're awake, you know about early voting.
What brought you to the polls today?
I think Brookline probably needs to elect more candidates who want to build housing here.
Oh,
daughter
yes. Oh, yes.
Genevieve.
Chris Chenio-Solkis.
Yes,
Yeah,
her
I
daughter
voted for
Genevieve.
that.
I know. Incredible job. And then obviously this one was my favorite. It's very trademark Brookline.
How did you hear about early voting?
Actually, I called yesterday because I'm going away next Tuesday. So I called them and then they say I can come before 5 o'clock. So
Excellent.
I said, okay, I'll be there.
How long have you lived in town?
Since 1986.
Whoa! So you've probably followed a lot of issues.
I have.
Yeah.
I grew up here. I went to Runkle, BHS, and now raising my family here.
Oh, wonderful. So you made your selection? Did you
Yes.
fill in all of the different people voting? Or
Yes.
did you leave any blank?
I filled in everything.
Was that convenient?
Oh, very convenient. I love it. I didn't expect this, but then anyway, that was
Excellent.
great outcome.
Excellent. Was it hard to get here?
No, I come here, yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. I can't say frequently, but then, you know.
But you
from
know
time
where it
to-
is.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I got plenty of parking spot to pick too.
Excellent. How did you hear about voting early?
Well, I went to the website, of course.
Excellent. Were you excited to vote?
Absolutely, positively.
Did you get a sticker?
I got a sticker as soon as I voted.
Excellent. Good job. What are 2 issues that you cared about the most this election season?
Oh, well, I'm worried about my Social Security because I'm one of the oldest people around. And I don't know, just everything. Everything is so confusing and nothing works. And you have to know what's going on.
Is there anything else that you want to say to the voters at large?
Vote.
Do your civic duty.
That's right.
Excellent. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
talking with
Yeah.
us.
And we're back here on the Election Night Results Show special with me, State Representative Tommy Vitolo, and we have some results. Now we're going to run through the town meeting races first. We need all 17 precincts to do the town-wide, and we're going to start with the races that are non-competitive. So in this case, we don't have the vote count yet, But we know it doesn't matter, so we're going to start there. Results are coming in real time. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to start with the short seat in Precinct 3. Precinct 3, right over here, and we're going to get to those results. And here we are. As I mentioned earlier, Peter Frumkin, he is the only candidate for this one seat, and we're going to mark him as the winner. Precinct 4, remember I said Precinct 4, sort of a funny situation. Precinct 4, 3 candidates on the ballot, Wendy Mockmuller, Danelle O'Neill, and Vina Priestley. There are 4 people running write-in campaigns. We will not know who won those until tomorrow or later because the machines don't tell us what was written down. It just tells us that someone filled in a write-in ballot. So we're going to go ahead and call the race for Wendy, Danelle, and Vina. We know 2 write-ins will win. We will not know tonight which ones they are. Precinct 4, of course, is a majority-minority precinct, sort of Route 9, Brookline Ave, in this neighborhood right over here. I want to next go to Precinct 5. Precinct 5, 5 candidates, 5 seats. Congratulations to Perry Grossman, Bill Raelt, Ariel Grusman, Jessica Milham, and Paul O'Leary. All 5 winners. Again, I don't have vote counts yet, but it's a 5 for 5, so we feel really good about this result being correct. I want to go to Precinct 9. Again, non-competitive, but actually kind of interesting. These were the 5 candidates on the ballot, but we're not actually really sure yet if write-ins beat Matt Caldera or not. And here's the thing, we will not know that tonight, because even if the total number of write-ins beat Matt Caldera, we don't know if they were all for the write-in candidate who was public about being a write-in candidate and worked for the job, Maddie Klock, or if they're for someone else. So we're going to put this one aside. We have great confidence that Harold Szymanski, Bob Weintraub, Anthony Buono, and Chris Muddy will have won. For Matt Caldera, we're not sure, and we're not going to know tonight. So we're going to move on to Precinct 10, also a 5 for 5. The old-fashioned way, 5 people on the ballot for 5 seats. We're going to call it for Rachel Barenbaum, John Bowman, Naomi Schweitzer, Liz Erdman, and Elizabeth Kernan. Let's go now to Precinct 14, and then we'll go to 15. Again, we like to, oh, look, we've got numbers. That's how good we are around here. Things happen without me even knowing they're going to happen. Congratulations to Carla Benka for topping the ticket in Precinct 14. Again, we've got actual numbers here. Jesse Hefter, Dick Benka, Linda Roseman, Kathleen O'Connell. 5 incumbents running unopposed, but that doesn't mean they all get the same number of votes. There's a little bit of differentiation, not much. Apparently, folks in 14 like all 5. We're going to go, let's go to Precinct 15. Again, it's a 5 for 5. We don't have numbers in yet, but we feel really confident that this is the largest land area in town. This is sort of South Brookline, but not yet to Putterham Circle. 5 candidates, incumbents Eileen Berger, Janice Kahn, Dick Nangle, Wadner Age certainly winning alongside with Hugh Joseph, who is on the ballot for the first time, but had been serving as caucused in. We've got real results now from a competitive race. It's the first competitive race we're going to call tonight. It's Precinct 17. That's right in Coolidge Corner. And here's what we've got. Survey says it's a bit of a shakeup. One of the incumbents fails to make the mark. Susan Park with a giant lead over the others. She ran for select board, and that may, not this year, but last year, and that may have provided her substantial lift. Bruce Levin, Jonathan Davis, Linda Olson, Pelkey, incumbents. Newcomer Chris Chackey getting in at 213. Now, we don't know who came in 6th from this board, and we don't know what they had. So I want to take a minute and make it clear what we're doing here tonight. We are reporting the numbers that come out of the machines at 8 p.m. tonight. So let me tell you what that includes, and let me tell you what that doesn't include. That includes everyone who cast a vote that was received by the town clerk, the town elections, by 5 p.m. today. Anyone who voted early, anyone who voted by Dropbox, by mail, in person early, anyone who voted today in person, Anything that was received in the mail today by 5 p.m., anything in the drop boxes today, 5 p.m., is in these numbers. So what's not in these numbers? The last 3 hours of votes that were put into a drop box, anything that was put in the mail that's delivered to Town Hall between 5 and 8 p.m., and any provisional ballots, which is to say if someone goes to the polls to vote, are told, hey, you're not on the list, but you can vote anyway, and then we'll check later to see if you really should be registered or not, those are not counted. I mention that because I don't know who came in 6th and how close that person is. It is possible, unlikely, but possible that someone is sitting out there with 212 votes, and after those last few votes are counted, could pass Chris for 5th place. Again, it's unlikely, but I just want to make that clear because these are not the official results. The official results don't come in for over a week from now. We're doing the best we can with the information we have, and our numbers tend to hold up. So I'm going to go from precinct 17 to the short seats. These results were known in advance, but now we've got numbers. 2-year term, Benjamin Dubin with 377 votes, running unopposed, and then there are 2 one-year seats, 2 winners. Congratulations to Rhea Paul and Joseph Valencia. I look forward to serving with you in town meeting in May. We've got Precinct 3 results, which I want to go to. Precinct 3 was a competitive race. And here's what we've got. This is interesting. Kate Becker tops the ticket, no surprise to me. I've long been a fan. Frank Steinfeld, Dennis Dowdy, Harry Boers, also incumbents. Margaret Robotham, a newcomer, cracked the code, didn't come in 5th, really came right in the middle of the pack there. Congratulations to her for really rising up and getting on this big board. Those are all the results I have at the moment. They're coming in fast and furious. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I'm going to tell you some of the things I heard that didn't go as well as planned today. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hello, Brookline. We hope you have enjoyed this live program on Brookline Interactive Group's cable channels. It was brought to you by our member, Tommy Vitolo, who has a show, TV on TV. We want you to know that you too can create a show at Big. Become a member, sign up online, and watch our orientation videos to get started. Big is your nonprofit community cable channel. Please stop by. We are located on the top floor of the Unified Arts Building at Brookline High School.
And we're back here on the election night results show. We've already called some of the town meeting races. We've got a few more results coming in. I'm going to do a recap in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about some things that didn't go as well as I know the town clerk had hoped. No disasters. We're going to get all the results. But here's sort of, some of the details you got to deal with as town clerk. This morning, they had to send DPW to a precinct because the hinge on the voting machine wasn't working. They had to get a couple of screws. No big deal. They got it fixed. That's small potatoes. A little more challenging, certainly, for reporting our results happened in Precinct 6. In Precinct 6, they found that some of the ballots that had been submitted early by mail or in the drop box were moist. And as they tried to get them in the machine was not happy with them. They're legible, they will be counted correctly, but they will not appear in tonight's total. So Precinct 6 is going to be a little bit light in the results. I think it's on the order of several dozen ballots. I'm not certain. That does affect not just our precinct 6 results, but our town-wide. If our town-wide results are razor thin, then those extra couple dozen ballots in precinct 6 that will be counted, just not tonight in the machines, could throw the results into question. Again, it's only several dozen ballots. Precinct 6 tends to run left of town as a whole, tends to have high voter turnout, is very pro-Pierce, since that's the public school in its neighborhood. So we don't yet know how that's going to impact things. We haven't even gotten the precinct 6 results yet. When we get them, we'll talk about it. Here's a result I haven't covered yet, but it is known in advance. That's 15.1. That is to say, the one-year seat in precinct 15, a special election. It had one candidate, Rory Hallowell. He has been serving as that town meeting member, having been caucused in nearly a year ago. And congratulations to Rory. You get to run again next year if you so desire to stay in town meeting. I want to just quickly review some of the things we've already said. Precinct 3, the exciting news here is newcomer Margaret Robotham not just breaking into the top 5, but coming in 3rd. That's an eyebrow raiser. That's really interesting. I look forward to chatting with her and better understanding her campaign secrets. I'm sure I have something to learn from her. Precinct 3.2, not a surprise. We knew Peter was going to get in there. He was running unopposed for that one-year seat. Precinct 4, again, well, we got all kinds of stuff going on. Here we go. Let's get rid of that. It's like it never happened. Precinct 4, we had the 3 folks on the ballot, 2 write-ins of 4 write-in candidates. We are not going to know that information tonight. It's a great reason to read Brookline News tomorrow. Precinct 5, this one was a race where we knew who was going to win, 5 candidates, 5 seats. We do have an order out of this. Bill Raelt, Perry Grossman, incumbents, no surprise. They got more votes. Jessica Milhelm, Ariel Grossman, and Paul O'Leary, newcomers to town meeting. Not a problem getting it done. We're going to go now to precinct 7 where we have new results. This is exciting. It was a 7 for 5, several different cohorts, and I can't wait to see what the results are, but I don't know until you know. Let's find out together. Precinct 7. And these results, frankly, not really surprising to me. I paid very close attention to the campaign, and I'll tell you a couple of things that are true. Amanda Zimmerman and Isaac Silberberg endorsed by darn near every organization. Also, both serving in town meeting, both hard workers, not surprised to see them topping the tickets. Colin Stokes, Chi-Chi Wu, 3rd and 4th, a little bit of a drop-off, not much. Elite Schultz, new town meeting member, actually called away, couldn't even be out there today, working hard, running up to the campaign though. She came in 5th. She's a newcomer. I think she's going to be an interesting town meeting member, a strong town meeting member, but we will see later this month. I want to go and show a few more things we've already shown. Precinct 9, we talked about this. Oh wait, we have numbers. This is interesting. This is new. Before we didn't have numbers. Now I can say a little more. Harold Szymanski, Bob Weintraub, Chris Muddy, Anthony Buono. You see between 359 and 407. Those 4 incumbents essentially running unopposed. Not a surprise. Also, they're guys who get around town. Chris Muddy and Anthony Buono used to be town meeting members in Precinct 17, which is just next door, moved down the street. Remember we said Matt Caldera had expressed maybe some reticence about being in town meeting after he was on the ballot. Folks who voted early, folks who voted by mail, may not have known that. 5 for 5, they voted for him, or maybe they liked the guy. Good Portuguese name, can't go wrong. Matty Klock ran as a write-in, arguing that since Matt Caldera suggests he doesn't want the seat, vote for Matty. That's a tough sled under normal circumstances. It's more difficult this year and in the way we do elections now because so many people vote by mail. When you're running as a write-in, you've got to let people know. When people come up to the polls, you can hand them a piece of paper or a sticker and say, hey, I'm running as a write-in, please vote for me and make your case. But anyone who votes early, and there were 4,249 people who voted early townwide, they won't receive that message on election day. They've already voted. And so it's really challenging to run as a write-in candidate. So Maddie Clark came up short for the 4th year in a row. Maybe we'll see her next year. If Matt Caldera decides to not serve, it does not go to the person who finished 6th. That's how Boston City Council works, but that's not how this works. In fact, the 14 elected town meeting members of Precinct 9 will choose the 15th person who will only serve for 1 year. And that seat will be up for conversation a year from now, right here on this channel. So congratulations to these folks. We're going to move on. I've got new results from Precinct 11, but I'm going to recap 10 first, just because I can. Precinct 10, my home precinct. I used to live in Precinct 6. The borders moved. We've got some numbers here. No surprise on the 5 winners. I don't know what to make of the order, if anything. Naomi Schweitzer with 360, Liz Erdman, John Bowman, Elizabeth Kiernan, and then just at a slight drop-off, Rachel Barenbaum. We're going to get new results. Precinct 11, recall, it was 6 candidates for 5 positions. Precinct 11 is sort of the Summit Ave, the top of the hill. The winners, not surprising to me, and the reason is these 5, they were sort of working together, right? It's tough to be the odd man out and essentially a 5 against 1. So kudos to these 5 for continuing to work together to represent the precinct. David Pollack topping the ticket at 459. He's a former school committee member. Shira Fisher, Shiana Gura-Gorfine, Lisa Schatz, and Becca Mountner. Becca, keep getting well. I know you're on the road to recovery. Focus on your health. We'll see you in town meeting. We're going to get to Precinct 16 in just a minute, but I'll recap. Remember 14, we went over it a little bit earlier. 5 for 5. Congratulations, Carla Benka, Jesse Hefter, Dick Benka, Linda Roseman, and Kathleen O'Connell. I don't know what it means that Jesse Hefter has wedged his way between the Benkas. We'll leave it to him to explain. Precinct 15 we talked about earlier. By land area, the largest precinct in town, no bigger in our hearts than any other. Janice Kahn, Dick Nangle, Eileen Berger, Hugh Joseph, and Wadner Oge. Very close numbers. That's very common when it's a 5 for 5. You know, a few people know one person and not another, but more or less this is what we expect. The 1-year seat, congratulations, Rory, for locking it down. We'll see you on the ballot next year. We're going to go to Precinct 16. This is a competitive race. These are new results. Precinct 16, Carlos Tamajo not able to break in. The 5 incumbents victorious. Carolyn Thal, she's a member of the school committee, townwide presence, not a surprise. She tops the ticket here. Adrian Bowman, Laura Baines-Walsh, Jocelyn Murphy, and Stephen Chumenti. We're going to show you 17 one more time. 17 again, contested. There were 5 incumbents, only 4 managed to survive. Susan Park, Bruce Levin, Jonathan Davis, and Linda Pelkey. Chris Chackey, getting in there. 5th place, looking forward to working with him in town meeting. The 2-year seat and the 1-year seats, not competitive. Benjamin Dubin with the single 2-year seat. And 2 1-year term winners, 2 seats, 2 contestants. Rhea Paul, Joseph Valencia, congratulations to both of you. We're going to take a quick break. We've got just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 precincts to go. The results are coming in real time. Before we put them on the air, we check them again. We want to make sure we've got it right. So give us a minute. We're going to get those results together. We're going to come back. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Juneteenth block party. Let me hear you make some noise. Today, we celebrate Juneteenth to honor our ancestors' struggles and triumphs and to remind ourselves of the ongoing fight for freedom and equality. As we celebrate Juneteenth, we not only commemorate the end of slavery, but also recognize the ongoing struggle for freedom and equality and the remarkable efforts of our young leaders to make history right.
Hello, Brookline. We hope you have enjoyed this live program on Brookline Interactive Group's cable channels. It was brought to you by our member, Tommy Vitolo, who has a show, TV on TV. I want you to know that you too can create a show at Big. Become a member, sign up online, and watch our orientation videos to get started. Big is your nonprofit community cable channel. Please stop by. We are located on the top floor of the Unified Arts Building at Brookline High School.
Welcome back to the 2025 TV on TV Election Night Results Special. We're running through the results, and I've got some great news. Almost all of the results have been received by Brookline Interactive Group World Headquarters right here on Tappan Street. We're doing a little QA/QC. We want to make sure the numbers we give you are the right ones. So here's what I want to do. I want to actually go to the map and show you what we've got left to show you. And then I'll show you, what we showed you. Maybe. That's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this. This is the map. I'm not at my own peril. I'm going to zoom in because I don't know if I'll break anything. But I want to show you what we've got left. We've got Precinct 1. This is sort of Beacon Street that runs through here. Precinct 1, here we go. We've got Beacon Street that kind of runs through here. Precinct 1, Cottage Farm, Longwood Mall. We're waiting on results there. Precinct 2 is sort of just south of Comm Ave before Packard's Corner. It's up here. We're waiting on results there. We've got results from Precinct 4. We're going to show you Precinct 4 is sort of the intersection of Route 9 and Brookline Ave. We're waiting on results in Precinct 6, which you can think of as sort of the high school and Pierce, that neighborhood of Brookline Village right here. We're waiting on results in 12. Precinct 12 is sort of south of 6. It's right over, I got it right? Yeah, it's 12. 12 is right there. And we're waiting on results of Precinct 13, which is kind of the northwest corner of Washington Square on down through Cleveland Circle and into Chestnut Hill. That's where we're waiting on results. I've got some of them. I'm waiting for a few others to be approved. Let's go ahead and go to the new results. Precinct 1, I have not shown these yet. Precinct 1, I used to be a town meeting member in Precinct 1. That's where I first got elected about 20 years ago. Good times. I visited earlier today, and I'm happy to report that's not even Precinct 1. That's Precinct 1. Get that keyboard out of there. What we're seeing here, sort of exciting, not terribly surprising. The 5 incumbents all won. Bradford Kimball, Sean Lynn Jones, Kathleen Cavell, Anna Albuquerque, Susan Helms Daly. Congratulations to all of you. I want to point out that a year ago, Bradford Kimball became the youngest person to ever be elected to Brookline Representative Town Meeting. He was so young that he wasn't even 18 when he got his name on the ballot. But because the legislature changed the law on voter registration just a few years ago to allow people under 18 to pre-register, and because he was 18 on Election Day a year ago, 364 days ago, but who's counting? Well, there was a leap year, 365 days ago. Bradford Kimball last year was elected at something like 18. He also happens to live right across the street from the polls. Maybe that's the difference maker. In any case, congratulations to all 5 incumbents in Precinct 1. I want to go to Precinct 4. Remember I said there were only 3 candidates for 5 seats plus 4 write-ins for the 5 3-year seats, but there's 1 short seat, 2 candidates. We've got results. I want to go to Precinct 4. Congratulations to Arslan Aziz for winning that seat. Now, he had been serving over the past year, a little less, as a caucused-in member representing Precinct 4. So he comes in with a little bit of experience. I know he got out there, he worked, got some attention, Congratulations to him for bringing that home. I want to go now to Precinct 8. Precinct 8 is kind of like Beale Street, kind of north of Beacon, mostly to the north or the east of Harvard. We've got results here. We've got another sort of interesting mix. So congratulations to Mike Toffel for topping the ticket, an incumbent along with Tracy Burns and Anita Johnson. And congratulations to newly elected Mary Sievers and Yukiko Igozi. That 5 from Precinct 8, I would say, a healthy mix of newcomers and incumbents with 15 town meeting members per precinct, 255 across town. Every year, we're bringing in some new ideas and holding on to some experience. We've always got that mix. A great example here in Precinct 8. I want to go to Precinct 2. Precinct 2, between Precinct 8 and Precinct 1, it's sort of just south of Com Ave. And I will say, in the last week, Precinct 2 got pretty feisty. A lot of folks running, different ideas. Precinct 2 is made up of a couple of different neighborhoods who maybe don't run in the same circles, don't share email lists. Let's see those results. In Precinct 2, we've got 4 incumbents who won: Brenda Hochberg, Pam Roberts, Barbara Scotto, Maura Toomey, and newcomer Elise Kocher-Stone. That's the 5. You see a pretty big spectrum, 254 down to 152. Brenda, quite popular. The others, popular enough. Again, these 4 ran together. Their 5th running mate didn't quite get there. She, former town meeting member, not an incumbent. Elise cracked the code and broke in. I want to go now to the Precinct 2 short seat. 2 candidates, 1 seat. Congratulations to Colin Newsom for that win. Again, that's a 1-year seat, so that will come up again next year. We've got a couple of new results I want to get to. I want to go to Precinct 6. Now remember, I told you Precinct 6, there were some ballots they could not feed into the machine because they were a little damp, they were a little moist. They're still legible, they will still be counted, but they're not in the results tonight. So we aren't confident about that 5th place finish as we might be otherwise. I don't have the results on the screen for number 6 and 7. Let's see the results and then we'll talk about them. Precinct 6, we see a mix. This is interesting. Kim Smith and Ginny Smith, the Smiths top the ticket. John Bassett coming in 3rd, Daniel Fishman 4th. Newcomer Maxime Shinin, great soccer goalkeeper, also serving on the town's, what do they call it? It's the Comprehensive Plan Committee, trying to figure out, maybe what Brookline wants to be when it grows up, or at least what it should or could look like 5 or 10 years from now. These are the 5 winners. Exciting stuff right here in Precinct 6. I'm in Precinct 6. I'm living that dream as we speak. We've got results left. We're going to do them. Precinct 12 and then Precinct 13. Precinct 12. Not so surprising. This is a little bit interesting. Mark Lowenstein, Petra Bignami, Amy Hummel, Emily Dolbear, all incumbents, all running for re-election, got the 4 seats. The 5th had to go to a non-incumbent, only 4 incumbents. Jeremy Redburn, I saw him at the polls today. He seemed to be enjoying himself. My recollection is he was endorsed by several different endorsing organizations. Maybe that's what it took, but congratulations to him. We've got 12.1, the short seat. It was competitive. It was not competitive. We could have gone to it earlier. Margot Malloy, look at that, 500 votes. That's a lot of votes for Precinct 12. Good for you for getting out there. Margot serving already, having been caucused in. She has to run again next year. We're going to Precinct 13. Precinct 13, this is not surprising to me at all. These 5 folks ran as a slate. That's Jenny Siegel, Andy Fisher, Kevin McKenzie, Ann Finkbinder, and David Brewster. And I want to point out, for those who have been watching this show year after year after year, that these 5 worked with the 5 who won last year and the 5 who won the year prior. Precinct 13 for a long time was, I would say by Brookline standards, more conservative than not. And then more recently, re-precincting, they lost a little bit of the more conservative part, added a little bit of Beacon Street. That moved the needle a little bit to the left. in addition, more progressive, more liberal, more lefty, more democratic, I don't care how you want to phrase it, candidates started working together in groups, and it turns out that more often than not is effective. It was effective here. Congratulations to longtime town meeting member Andy Fisher, back again Jenny Siegel, and congratulations to Kevin McKenzie, who failed to get elected last year, failed to get elected the year prior, stuck with it, kept working with his community, kept getting in touch with his community, and cracked the code. If you're keeping score, you know we've done all the precincts, which means we have the town-wide winners, and we're going to give them to you right after this commercial break. And welcome back to TV on TV Election Night Results Special. This is the big stuff, right? The town meeting races have all been called, and now we're ready for the town-wides. We've got all the results in. I haven't seen them yet. You haven't seen them yet. Let's see them together. We're going to start with Constable. Now remember, for Constable, the order matters. So let's see what it is. 3-year terms go to Isaac Silverberg and Neil Gordon, both with just over 5,000 votes. Also with just over 5,000 votes, but getting 2-year seats, Regina Frawley, and say it with me, Deborah Hatziolef-Thea Heredis, known as Debbie Hatz. Joe Figler taking up the rear, which is great because it means we get to vote for him again next year if we so choose. It's up to you. Joe Figler, congratulations on also being elected. We're going to go now to library trustee. Remember, 5 candidates, 4 positions, 2 incumbents, 3 challengers. And here we are. We've got incumbent Michael Burstein, was the chair for a number of years, topping the ticket. Incumbent Judith Vanderkay in 3rd. Badia Blumenthal and Felina Silver, newcomers to library trustee, coming in 2nd and 4th. Badia Blumenthal, especially interesting. She's a librarian. She's been a librarian for decades, worked for, I think, 20 years or more in the Brookline public libraries. She's now in Newton for work, but in Brookline for the trustees. We're going to go to school committee next. Remember, 3 candidates will win out of 6. Some incumbents, some newcomers, a lot of different perspectives. We didn't get into their perspectives or their theories or what they ran on. We're just going to get you the results. We'll let the folks tomorrow talk about those details. For school committee, we have Dr. Bein Weintraub, former headmaster at Brookline High School, topping the ticket, frankly, by a landslide. I call him Eagles. Folks call him Doctor. Bob Weintraub coming in first. Number 2, Donna Perry. No, that's not true. Number 2's down here. Number 2, Val Frias with 4,800 votes. And number 3, Donna Perry with 4,300 votes. Congratulations to you 3 on winning the school committee race. And last, certainly not least, maybe first in our hearts, we've got select board. Remember, 3 candidates, 1 winner. We're going to find out now. Congratulations to Michael Rubenstein with 4,280 votes. That represents, in my back of my head estimation, considerably more than a third. Congratulations to Michael Rubenstein. I don't yet have the total votes for the other 2 candidates. I can't tell you how close it was. Remember, there's still a few votes out there, but no doubt in my mind, Michael Rubenstein will be the next select board member, replacing outgoing select board member Mike Sandman. So we're going to try to get select board member-elect Rubenstein on the phone, but we're going to go to a commercial first so we can let all that technology do its thing. I think we're routing around Elon Musk's satellites. TBD, that's all over my head. That's not funny. It's getting late. Let's go to commercial.
We are starting at the edge of the high service pumping station, completed in 1888. This is a very simple building. Basically all it did was store coal. The coal was burned, water was boiled, and steam was made. And these giant pumps here, which are powered on steam, took that water and pumped it up to a higher location, the Fisher Hill Reservoir, which is a mile that way and about 140 feet above where we are now. From there, it was able to go by gravity down to all those higher elevations in Boston that desperately needed water, and this included Beacon Hill. This was built with an enormous sense of pride, and the inside of the building, of course, is highly decorated, again, to emphasize the ability of Boston to provide for its citizens using the very latest technology to do that. Unfortunately, within the first couple of years of the operation of this site, it became obvious that a lot more capacity was necessary for the city of Boston. Fortunately, the most brilliant steam engineer of his day, Erasmus Darwin Leavitt Jr., had an office in Cambridge. So Leavitt was able to take this site, which was a huge challenge, and create a customized steam engine that was capable of pumping 20 million gallons a day, doubling the capacity of the site. He got this thing done within 2 years, and it actually worked. Leavitt got a lot of praise for this, and ultimately this became a National Historic Engineering landmark in the 1970s. So it was really appreciated back then in his time and then in our modern world. This is a triple expansion steam engine, Boston's first. And what that means is the steam comes in from the boiler room at 185 pounds per square inch into the first cylinder here, and there are 3 cylinders along the way. This allows the steam to be used a second time and even a third time. This section of the building was added onto in 1897. And you really can't tell from the outside, or from the inside, other than the archway here, that it is an addition. A few short years later, then this had to be put in, and what we're looking at is actually a 5-story tall engine, 2 stories below ground, where the pumps are, and 3 stories above ground. And this represents the coming of the new century. And in fact, clad in what was known as Russian iron. It was not wood, because this company said we want to go into the future, and wood is old school. Leavitt is old school, only 4 years after that engine was made. What you would feel and hear would be beneath your feet. 30 million gallons a day of water being pumped by this engine, coming from the reservoir, rushing under our feet, and going out the building a mile away to that other reservoir. This engine has those parts that were really developed way back in the beginning of the steam age by the Brits Newcomen and Watt. So for example, 2 giant wheels. These are known as flywheels. And each of these flywheels are 25 tons. So it's dead weight. It's stored energy. If you know physics at all, even the most basic, and that's all I know, these things store energy, so they're hard to get going, but once you get going, they really deliver. So we've learned about the Leavitt engine and about the Alice engine, and now we're here in front of the 3rd engine that's in place here, the Worthington Snow engine from Buffalo, New York. This is utilitarian, as we would expect it to be today when you see a piece of equipment like this, as an homage to what went before. They made many of these engines, and they're not particularly large, but they're really, really reliable and super economical. And this would be actually completely operable today. This was the last engine operating on the site. It's just built to go and go and go. This is really fitting for Boston. I'm sure they were absolutely thrilled to provide this cutting-edge equipment. Thank you very much for joining me on the tour today. There's lots more to explore.
Welcome back to the TV on TV results special. Folks, we're trying to get Michael Rubenstein live via satellite. He won the select board race. Congratulations to him. We're working on both audio and video. Michael, do we have you?
Hi, Tommy.
Hey! Technology. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Hey, congratulations to you on what looks like a pretty significant win.
Thank you so much, Tommy. I'm so pleased. We had a really great campaign, and it looks like we've got some results to show for it.
Well, and I know that York, I watched all three campaigns. They're all different. Part of that is personality, part of that is platform, but part of it is the style of the campaign. And in my observation, your campaign had the most pieces of sort of a modern, professional campaign. And but also you had a different message. So how do you sort it all out? I don't know. What I know is it worked. What do you think you did on the campaign that helped you hit your stride, that really connected with voters?
So I would say a couple of things. First of all, thank you, Tommy, and thank you to all of the voters who came out today. It was a bit of a wet and soggy day, but I'm so happy that so many voters came out. In terms of how we connected with the voters, I think the answer is simply that we went out to where the voters were, and we started conversations, and we listened to their answers. And then when they were done talking, we listened more and we asked questions. And, you know, as you know, Tommy, I have a long background in community organizing work. And that work is all about hearing people where they are and understanding the struggles that they are experiencing in their day-to-day lives, and being able to reflect on those and bring solutions to the table and ideas to the table that actually address the real challenges that people face. It's certainly true there were a lot of pieces, but that connection to me was sort of the most special part of the campaign, and it started at the very beginning and ended right up at the very end.
Now, certainly commercial development seemed to take center stage in this race. All three candidates, pretty similar views. That is to say, we really want those sweet, sweet tax dollars. We'll have to figure out how to learn to live with the other consequences. Do you feel like the other four select board members, the ones you will be serving with, are on the same page? Should we expect forward movement on commercial development in the near future?
So, as you rightly point out, I am the newest select board member, and I am looking forward to working with all the rest of the select board members and all other leaders in towns in a number of areas, whether it's on the planning board or the other boards and commissions, in order to crack the nut that we've been talking about for a very long time. You know, there have been many, many plans over the years in terms of commercial development, in terms of housing production, in terms of growing our tax base. And I think that between the 5 select board members, the work that's being done on the comprehensive plan, as well as other plans that have already been produced, we've got a lot of great ideas in Brookline for how to move forward. And I think that coming together in leadership on the select board, we can move those plans forward. And I'm looking forward to working with anybody and everybody who is interested in doing so.
A place where the 3 select board candidates had at least somewhat different perspectives was on the residential development side. I think it's fair to say of the 3, you are the most enthusiastic about more units being developed in town. But that doesn't mean build absolutely anything anywhere. Give us some parameters for where you think maybe some more homes could be zoned for, permitted, and built within the next 5 to 10 years. Where should we expect that growth if a select board member Rubenstein vision comes to fruition?
Well, I would say two things. The first thing is that, as I mentioned before, we have lots of plans in place. So looking to those plans, there's a lot of conversation about some particular sites around town. Obviously, the Chestnut Hill West project is one area, and I would really look towards the other projects that have been permitted, like the Waldo Durgan site, to see what we need to do to get shovels in the ground on that project. So looking at the large sites for mixed-use development and commercial development is obviously one place that I would like to see move forward. And in terms of the neighborhoods and the rest of the town, I think that there are incremental steps that we can take. There are lots of work being done both in the planning department and people who are thinking about what is the right balance that we can make between increasing our housing supply and maintaining the character of the neighborhood, while of course dealing with the other realities that we have to deal with. Things like climate change, which I know you're doing a lot of work in, and the other challenges that we face in the town. But I think that looking at the large sites for things like mixed-use development and looking at the neighborhoods for an understanding of balanced incremental enhancement and more housing there is sort of the Rubenstein vision, as close as I can say it.
I love it. Now, it turns out that most winning candidates have a knack for talking about things that are interesting and important to voters. After all, it's the voters who decide the winners. I wonder, though, are there things that you're excited to work on that maybe aren't especially interesting to a lot of people, wouldn't be a winning campaign slogan? Nevertheless, it's something you're interested in working on, interested in moving forward. What are some of the smaller things that you might get your fingerprints on?
A couple of things that I can think of. One of them, and this is really for my own benefit as well as the town, I would really like to understand what all of the, I think there are 58 boards, commissions, and committees in the town do, and how they are related to our town structure. Which select board members are working on which committees, which town departments help which committees, and how do those committees set their goals and communicate those goals. I think there's a lot of interesting work to be done to communicate what is working with the town, services, where we have struggles. And this was actually something I heard a lot from voters, is that, there were things that they were expecting and wanted from the town. And it is even probable in many cases that the town was taking action, but the communication in both directions, I think, is an area that I would love to dive into, understand the challenges, set some goals for making progress, and then pushing it forward.
Michael, I don't want to keep you from your party, from your supporters, so I do want to extend you another congratulations. And if you've got any last minute things you wish I would have asked, now's your chance, your last bite of the apple here tonight.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say I am so grateful to all of the voters in Brookline who participated in this, who came up to our campaign and asked questions and challenged me and sort of help make me a better candidate, and I'm hoping a better select board member. I'm really looking forward to the next 3 years, and I think that there's a lot that we can do to take the wonderful town of Brookline and make it even better.
Again, congratulations. Thanks for coming on the show, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Have a good night, Tommy. You enjoy the evening, too.
Be well. I'm going to wrap it up here. Folks, I'm State Representative Tommy Vitolo, and you're watching TV on TV's Election Night Special. The results are in. For Select Board, the winning candidate we just spoke with, Michael Rubenstein. For School Committee, congratulations to Bob Weintraub, Val Frias, and Donna Perry. And congratulations as well to Brookline's 4 elected library trustees, Michael Burstein, Badia Blumenthal, Judith Vanderkay, and Felina Silver. Thanks to Brookline Interactive Group's worldwide comms system. Thank you, everyone, really, for making the time for us tonight, and congratulations again. You know, I've been doing the show for 6 years now, and I think this is the best one yet. You've seen the results, and you're still here. Thank you. I hope you'll stay tuned for my closing thoughts. I promise they won't take long. This show wouldn't be possible without a long list of people. Thank you to our on-show guest, Professor Matt Sienkiewicz, and to moderator Neil Wyshynski for talking town meeting. Thank you to the dozens of data collectors, the data operators, graphics editor Xavier Muse, the Twin Towers of Tally, Emma Staff, and Tim Wilson. Most importantly, thank you to the entire Brookline Interactive Group team. This live program required hundreds of hours of preparation. And if you're watching this, you've likely watched a select board or school committee or advisory committee meeting or a town meeting on Zoom or live streamed or on television. Those are only possible because of Big. That work isn't easy either, and Big deserves our admiration, our thanks, and our active support. This election didn't have a tax question on the ballot. It didn't have re-precincting to juice the numbers. There was no crisis in Brookline government, not by a long shot. And yet, there's no shortage of qualified people from all walks of life who signed up with the town clerk to audition for a role in our town government. Truly an impressive set of candidates from top to bottom. And after today's results, there's no doubt that our town government remains broad, inclusive, and democratic. There's no crisis in Brookline government, but that doesn't mean we don't have work to do. How much commercial development will we invite to relieve residential property taxpayers? How quickly should we increase government spending? And on what should we spend? Right-of-ways are only so wide. How much space should each user get on our sidewalks and roadways? Are our schools spending money or time well? Do we want more housing in our community? And what kind? And where should it be located? All questions worth debating in town meeting, before the select board or school committee, and elsewhere. By and large, this election was above board. To be sure, a candidate or a supporter may have stretched a bit here or there. The candidates and the forums and the press and the advocacy organizations focused on the issues important to Brookline. In my opinion, things went below the belt in one precinct in particular. I won't belabor the point, and I won't get into the details. One town meeting seat, indeed an entire precinct's set of seats, isn't worth harming your own reputation by unfairly maligning another's. To the candidates who didn't make it to the big board, thank you. Running for office ain't easy. It takes time. It takes its emotional toll. It takes patience. It takes you away from loved ones. Everyone in Brookline owes you a debt of gratitude. Our democracy is at its best when it has good choices, and you were good choices. I hope this isn't the last of your participation. There are countless boards, committees, and commissions. As Select Board Member-elect Rubenstein mentioned, I know your talents would be welcome there, and perhaps I'll get to read your name on this show next year. To the people whose names I did call, the folks who will fill the 106 positions, congratulations. I know that you'll work hard representing your neighborhood and our town. You will be at your best when you listen, especially to people who have a different perspective than you. You'll be at your best when you're prepared, having read the packet or warrant, the listserv, and the news. If you were reelected today, go spend some time with newcomers. Get to understand their motivations and interests. New around here? Welcome. Know that the old-timers were new around here once too, and that they too are worth hearing out. Remember that book and subsequent poster, All I really need to know I learned in kindergarten. Turns out it's true in politics too. Be kind. Tell the truth. Listen. Share. And for new town meeting members, occasionally, nap. Thank you for watching the TV on TV Election Night Special with me, State Representative Tommy Vitolo. Tonight, stay tuned for Susan Park's Asian Flavors coming up next. Tomorrow, let's go to work helping Brookline be the best town it can be together.